Hello everyone, I'm Jimmy. In this video I'm going to be discussing why I bought this lens, the Canon EF 50mm 1.8 STM. Now this is commonly known as the Nifty 50 or the Fantastic Plastic. It's a prime 50mm lens and it's pretty cheap for what it is. It runs about $125. You can pick one up pretty easily. And it's very often recommended as the first lens you should pick up after your kit lens that comes with your camera. So in my case, my Canon 800D came with the 18 to 55mm kit lens, and like most people recommend, I picked up this 50mm Nifty 50 as my second lens. Now the reason that this is recommended is, first of all, the price, that $125 is pretty cheap for a lens, and especially for a lens with a very fast aperture. This opens up to 1.8, is usually much more expensive than that. Usually to get a fast lens like that, you're paying a premium. So this is a pretty good deal. The image quality is pretty good for what you get, and it's just really an all-around great lens. As far as how it's worked out for me, I think I actually would not recommend this as a first lens unless you're focusing specifically on portraiture and taking photos of people where you want a really strong background separation. After this, I ended up getting the Canon EFS 24mm pancake lens, which is a 2.8 aperture, so it also opens pretty wide, and that's actually what I'm filming this video on right now. I found that for my use, the 24mm prime was actually much more versatile than the 50mm prime. That's primarily due to the crop factor on an APS-C camera like the Canon 800D. On my camera, the 50mm was really more like 80mm because of that extra zoom applied by the crop sensor. I found that in a lot of cases, 80mm was actually a little too zoomed in for what I wanted to do. For any kind of landscape or even really most street photography, it's a little bit too close. And so I'd have to get farther away than would necessarily be comfortable or easy to achieve in a given situation. That said, it is a great portrait lens, especially for the price. So if you're doing a lot of photos of people, it's definitely a good starting lens after your kit lens. And it is very nice to be able to get that increased light absorption in low light. So for night photography, this is good. I found that the 24mm 2.8 is actually pretty sufficient for me for low light. This will get you a little bit more. That can really come in handy when you're in a really dark situation. So the two main reasons that you'd get this are if you're doing a lot of portraiture or you just really want a cheap way to get access to that really, really fast aperture with the good background separation between your subject and the background. That nice bokeh that everyone loves. And also if you're doing a lot of low light photography or night photography, this is a good choice. Eventually you're probably going to want to get this if you have started with a full frame camera. Then I think 50mm is a much more capable focal length on full frame when you're not having that extra zoom from the crop factor. So you really can't go wrong with this lens. I don't at all regret that I bought it, but if I were to go back in time with what I know now, I would definitely start with the 24mm pancake, which I think overall has been more versatile.